Hello again, friend. Thank you for joining us. We're so glad to have this opportunity to be able to come your way today. We are looking at Hebrews chapter 11, verses 8 through 19 this week. We are looking at the subject of I will obey. Again, the Bible says there in verse number 8, by faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out not knowing whither he went. So I will obey. Again, obedience is one of the most important choices that an individual will ever make in their life, to obey. It doesn't take a whole lot of intelligence to obey, but it does take fortitude. And it does take the ability to make the decision to follow the commands. And so we're going to see this week how that Abraham just obeyed. And he was known as a man of faith for his obedience. Now, let's begin to look at some of the things that we learn from Abraham here in this chapter. First of all, I want you to notice the commencement of Abraham's obedience. The commencement of Abraham's obedience. First of all, there was a call that was rendered. There was a call that was rendered. In verse number 8, the Bible says that by faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance. And so there is this call of Abraham that was rendered. You know, I've often been interested in what happened. I mean, there's Abraham in the Ur of the Chaldees. He's already lived somewhat of a successful life and lived a good portion of life by the time that he hears this call. But the Lord calls him. And I want to remind you, the Lord doesn't call him out of a Christian setting, not even out of a Jewish setting, dear friend. He's going to be the father of the Jews. He calls to Abraham in the heart of paganism. He calls him out of paganism. No doubt for Abraham, there must have been an emptiness to the religious pursuit that was around him. All the idolatry and all the immorality that came with the religious environment that he found himself in. In that moment, the Lord spoke to Abraham and called Abraham. And listen, called him to go to a place that he didn't know where he was going. He didn't know the directions. All he knew is that God was calling him into a place. And so there was a call that was rendered. And I want to tell you, God's still sending a call out today, dear friend. I'm glad that the Spirit of God is still calling men and women and boys and girls to salvation. God's still sending a call out for individuals to follow Him, to come after Him. So there was that call that was rendered. But I want you to know also there was a call that was received as well. And so the Bible says that, you know, the Lord called him to go out into this place that afterwards he should receive for an inheritance. And it just simply says this: he obeyed and he went out not knowing whither he went. He just believed God. He just obeyed. And that's how hard it is, dear friend. You know, Abraham didn't understand everything that was going on. I mean, Sarai could have asked him and said, where are we going? I want to know exactly the destination. I want to know exactly where it is we're going to end up. And Abraham, in all honesty, would have had to simply say this: I don't know. And maybe at times they would talk about it, and you can imagine a husband and wife and that conversation that went on, and how badly she wanted to know, how much she probably wanted that peace of mind as to where they were going. And maybe Abraham just simply had to say this: I don't have all the answers here. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I don't have all the answers either. Matter of fact, I've never met anyone that does have all the answers. Now, I've met a few folks who thought they had all the answers just to find out that they really didn't have them, dear friend. Faith doesn't require that we have all the answers. But faith absolutely does require this: that we obey the Lord, that we respond to Him in simple obedience, dear friend. And again, when the Bible says here that Abraham obeyed God, what a testament that was for him. Look, it's not really that important that you and I have all the answers. We understand everything. But it's extremely important that we know this. When God calls to us, that we respond to Him in complete and total obedience, dear friend. May it be said of us that we obeyed the Lord as well. I hope today you'll think about these things. Till the next time, may